like, you know, we got the puppies in here, and like, I want to know, because, you know, you come in the studio and we start talking about your song, but I want to know, like, where you came from.
Yeah, totally.
Like, where did you come from?
I grew up in Hell's Kitchen, New York City, and actually, this translates perfectly. You know, when we rescue, because we're big into rescuing now, and when my wife left her cat, when we were in the city, she was like, we have to get a dog. So first day, we were like, all right, we'll see what happens. It was a bunch of different fairs, you know, they have the shelter, they have like the little trucks at different like outdoor flea markets and stuff. So I was like, you know what, let's start here. And so we go to a couple different flea markets in New York, and we went to a couple, and we didn't love anybody. And then we went to our third one, and we get there, and just out on the street with this old woman is our dog now, Wink. And he's this little cute Yorkie with one eye, and he's just sitting there. And Emily goes up to play with him. We're talking to a couple dogs, and immediately he sits in her lap, and he's just like, that was it. It was love at first sight. And I knew too that was our son, because I walked in to the place and I saw other people playing with him. I was like, if I'm signing this right, this is our baby, right? Like nobody else gets in. They're like, no, yeah, don't worry, you got it. And it was actually perfect timing too, because someone came back with their other dog to meet him, and it's just universe, you know. He's our little like prior son right now, because
we had been set on the fact that we wanted a Frenchie.
Oh yeah, we wanted a Frenchie for sure.
But I refused to go to a
puppy
breeder,
shelter or anything.
And we found Wink, and I could never imagine having another dog other than him.
He's the coolest.
I just rescued 2 Frenchies this week.
Oh really?
A year old, 2, a boy and a girl.
Wow.
They're beautiful. And everybody wants the Frenchies.
Everybody wants a Frenchie.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Were you Frenchies? English.
He's got the biggest, cutest English bulldog. He's so big and chunky.
Yeah, I got an English bulldog. We've had for my wife and I. We're like obsessed with them. Before we had kids, we got English bulldog paintings in our house. Yeah. English bulldog, like even our hose is an English bulldog hose, right? We got one right now, big fat one called. His name is Joey. So yeah.
You know you're in when you get the salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah, we got it. And the bookends, we got them all.
You okay? Yeah, I was asking you earlier what was your first dog experience? When did you get your first dog?
When I was a little kid, I remember. Well, I mean, I've rescued animals. I remember like in 8th grade, you know, where they have the gerbils. They're going to feed the snakes.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to feed the snakes, and then I grabbed the gerbils out of the aquarium, and I took off running. And the whole class chased me, and I was running out there with these gerbils. I was like, no! And then they fed them to the snakes, and then you know, I took a puppy home from a kid had found at school, and then my dad made me give it back. And then, you know, when my wife and I first got married, we've rescued dogs our whole life.
Yeah.
And then what happened was about 2 years ago, somebody called my wife. There was a stray Chihuahua in our alley, so she grabbed it. And she sent me the picture, and I put it on my Instagram. I said, hey, my wife just found this Chihuahua back here. And I found out all these people just blew me up. They're like, oh my God, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I thought the power of social media right now, I could probably save a lot of dogs.
Yeah, totally.
And so I said, I'm pretty good at this. And then people started going, hey, I found this dog. Hey, I found this dog. And so I was flipping dogs within 24 hours. Someone handed me a dog, I get a new dog. Right? Then I realized you can't really do that because somebody might have lost a dog.
Yeah, it might have been.
So now I found out, you know, then I went through the proper channels. I've learned everything you can about rescue. We're a legal 501(c) now. Our foundation is called Love Pup. And we've got, you know, when you find a stray like this dog we found yesterday, and you got to hold him for 6 days.
Yes.
And then you can find a home for him. You know, then we'll get him spayed and fixed because he's still got his nuts.
Oh, of course, yes.
You know, but
that's actually a funny story. So Wink, when we first got Wink, his name was Prince. And he had just been neutered the day we got him, the day before he got neutered. And it said they named him Prince. It was right after Prince passed away. They named him Prince because he was very sexually motivated, which was on the paperwork, which is so funny. So we ended up naming, because he had the one eye, so Prince Winkleton is all of his stuff. But he became Wink very quickly. But we thought that was hilarious. I would have loved to see, because he's quite the little ladies' man. So I would have loved to see what he had if he still had his manhood intact, you know.
But when you go with like how long have you been around in the music business? Now, I didn't want to do like research on you.
No, thank you.
You know, I want to just get to know you. Like, I love the song, turn the lights down low. I love your music. I love your story. I go on your Instagram now. I follow your life. I think it's fantastic. But what's your story? Like, where did you come from? When did you get into music? Where did that happen?
Well, so like I said, I grew up in Hell's Kitchen. I would see a lot of Broadway shows as a kid. And I just kind of caught the bug early. I would come home, I remember seeing The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast, and I would come home and I'd get in my underwear and I would reenact the whole show for my family or whoever wanted to see it with us. And And I just loved it. And then my parents, when we were looking for extracurricular activities, it's okay, cuties. I was playing soccer and other things, and they said, why don't we do? You want to try theater? You want to do like musical theater or some music stuff? And I tried it out, and I loved it. I couldn't get enough. I kept doing multiple shows at the same time, whatever else. And then I just kept with it and kept doing it, and I had to eventually give up soccer and sports because I had to commit to it, and so that was sort of the vibe. And then I started doing it more professionally. I went to high school for it, and then I did my first Broadway show when I was 16 called 13 the Musical, which Ariana Grande was in it with me and a lot of other awesome people. It was an all-teen cast, so it was all of us. And that was my first real gig, and I was what you call a swing understudy, which is where you cover multiple roles. You're understudying multiple roles. And so I actually went on, it's okay, baby. I went on mid-show, my first show ever, a kid lost his voice, and I went on, and I had no shirt. Like, they weren't prepared for me to go on because this was early in the run. And so I'm on this bicycle to go out, and I have no shirt on. It's my first, thing ever. And right before I go on, someone throws me, an extra shirt, and I put it on, and I ride out on stage, and, the lights hit me, and that was it. It was crazy. It was the first, real gig for me. And yeah, I've just had kind of a wild journey otherwise. I've been I did some TV stuff and in and out, and musical projects for Nickelodeon and things like that, which were awesome, but all the while it was always music to me, and I was lucky that those were musical influenced projects where I got to sing in them or play ukulele and things like that. But it ended up being, I never felt fulfilled because I look up to so many actors and people who and just completely give themselves to a role, but it never felt like mine. And finally I just said I gotta only do music, and a couple years ago I finally just got in a van or a bus or whatever vehicle or a minivan and just went on the road and started playing and making it. So it's been awesome.
Wait, so you're not? I'm not going to be stupid where you leave here and this interview gets posted and people are going to go, "How did you not know he was a star?" Am I going to get a million of those?
No, not at all. Oh. No, man.
And when you say Broadway, because I love Broadway theater.
Oh, really?
Oh my God! I'm there's two shows I was obsessed with. One when I was a kid, and one I'm obsessed with currently. West Side Story.
Of course.
Were you in West Side?
I was Tony in West Side Story when I was a kid.
Get out of here! You were Tony. Something's coming. I don't know what it is.
Funny story. During that song, I remember doing it, and I was singing, and I had this. But you wonder sometimes on stage, you go into another world where you realize, wait, I'm doing this. This is happening. If I stop doing this, the show stops. And I had that moment up on the ladder, West Side Story, something's coming. Mid-song, I'm thinking oh, what would happen if I stopped singing? And then I realized I had stopped singing, and then I started singing again, and I looked back at the video, and it was literally just a chunk, as if the mic had just cut out for a second. I went back in, and yeah, it's always been one of my favorite shows.
You were Tony in West Side. Okay, so you obviously know all the words to all the songs, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I was. I have 3 boys, 14-year-old, 13-year-old, 10-year-old, and my 10-year-old and I were driving home from baseball practice one night. And we were listening to music, and we're listening to Lights Down Low, believe it or not. So cool. And then I go to different songs, and I play for him Something's Coming. And I tell him, I said, this song for me, Something's Coming, for me, it's different chapters in my life because it was Something's Coming. First it was when I first met their mom, I was or when I was going to get into radio, I don't know what it is. Something's coming, grab a chair, pull up a chair, meet a guy, grab the moon, one-handed catch. I go, I don't know what it is, but it's around the corner. Then it was. I told him the song was about you. I said, I didn't know you were coming. But something's coming.
Something's coming.
And it was that's what it is. Like there's and I still now I don't know what that next thing is.
Totally.
But something's coming. And it's got to be great.
Oh yeah.
Totally. So that's what I love about West Side Story. It was such a big part of my life. It still is. What's that next chapter?
Yeah.
And currently,
yes,
it's Hamilton.
Oh, of course.
Are you in Hamilton?
I haven't gotten into it fully yet. My friend just finished up. He was in it recently. Jordan Fisher. Yeah, Jordan.
I know Jordan.
That's my boy. Baby, don't bite so much. Yeah, come here.
Yeah, I was. What's funny is I was. So we've known Jordan for about a year and a half through Hollywood Records.
Yeah, of course. He's a great dude.
Yeah, so
you guys are funny.
My wife and I are in New York for some meetings.
Come here.
And I go set up some Hamilton tickets, and we're there, and we go to the Jingle Ball, do one honored or whatever, and then we went late to Jingle Ball, and then on Saturday was our show, and I look at the cast thing, and it says Jordan Fisher. I'm like, oh my God, I jumped through hoops to get tickets, and Jordan's in his, so I text my friend Scotty, who was the president of Hollywood Records. I'm like, Scotty, what the F? He goes, why didn't you tell me? He goes, Joe, he goes, I was at the show last night. I could have got you backstage. I could have got you whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. And I know his last show was just not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe, but.
Was it awesome though? Was it
It's
so
freaking
great?
incredible.
Oh, I've heard the best things. I have to get into it.
And my kids have not seen it, but they know the soundtrack word for word from the soundtrack. You got to get into it, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
phenomenal.
I love Lin-Manuel. I was a big In the Heights fan too, so I
you were?
love all of his stuff, man. He's such a brilliant dude. And I did a benefit with him in my Broadway days, where I met him was right when In the Heights was starting, and he can be a nicer dude. It's just cool to see like humble people just slaying it. He's just nonstop slays it, which is cool.
Yeah. Wow.
And I have one fun West Side Story fact, actually. So nobody in my family really is in show business, funny enough. Like they're all, my dad's side, they're all little Jews that are hilarious and whatever, they do their things. But one person, my cousin Elliot, was Baby John in the original West Side Story, amazing dancer. And my dad
in the original West Side Story?
In the original West Side Story. He is
in the play or the movie?
In the movie and the play.
Little Baby John?
Baby John, that's
your
him.
cousin?
That's my cousin. And he was the coolest. And funny enough, it all ties together because his mother was amazing. She just passed away. She was 103 when she passed it away about 2 months ago. The coolest. We would make, when you're on the road, you never know. It really makes you appreciate people because you don't see your friends that often. You have to make the time when you go to a city to see them.
Right.
And so whenever we were in New York, we made sure to see Aunt Alice. And it just shows that you never know when someone's going to pass. You just have to make the time because they don't have forever. And she was so cool. We would see her every time. And she was so supportive of Elliot. It's cool because Elliot went on to create amazing dance pieces with, Baryshnikov was an amazing dancer. And he had his own company, but he started in West Side Story. And she went to Balanchine at SAB, at School of American Ballet, and brought him. She was like, he has to be the prince in your, he was one of the original Nutcracker princes too. And it was just cool to see that, a family's support, especially in this world, is sometimes the most crucial, and for them to see what happened with him, it's really cool. He's still such a spry dude. He came to our wedding, he was dancing around, and yeah, so that's a fun fact about cousin Elliot.
He gets a little beat up in West Side Story.
Oh yeah.
He does. Got a rocket in your, and he does the right. Yeah. Wow, man.
You guys are funny.
So with interesting because you go by you drop the last name.
Yeah.
And was that marketing decision time? Do you have a difficult last name?
No. I mean, the last name's Schneider. It's just
it's on your Instagram.
Yeah, it was. I think the real reason why I did it was there was a second for me where I always tell this story, which is always fun. I've realized, especially as I've gotten older, that it's so cool when people recognize you for the work, but it's even cooler when they recognize the work without you sometimes. Like even in your situation, hearing the song, not knowing who it was or whatever else. That's like the most fulfilling because that's more of a representation of me than anything else I could say, you know? And so I feel like there was a point where my full name, especially doing acting stuff, I felt like people weren't hearing the music fully. And so when I decided to go by just Max, I did it, and it was definitely a word because it's not very Googleable and it's just Max, and people always are like, with 3 X's? I'm like, nah, 3 big letters, small guy. But I did it, and I got a song in this Veronica Mars movie. I had this song called Mugshot, and I always loved soul music. And so basically what happened was I went to the after party for the movie. It was my first time I had a song in a movie, and I was so excited. I go after, and I went up to the director to say thank you for putting the song in. And I said, hey, thank you so much for putting my song in the movie. He goes, who are you? I was like, I'm Max. I got that song, Stick Up, Mugshot. And he was like, you're Max? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I thought Max was like a doo-wop group. I thought you were like 6 big black dudes singing this song. I didn't know. It was like, I don't know. You're like a little. What are you? I was like, yeah, I'm just a little, New York Jewish guy. And that was the coolest moment because honestly, that's all I want. I want just people to hear it completely with and of course as things happen, it's cool that they also recognize you within the work, but that was a very exciting moment that he just heard the music, and if he had known it might have been my song, maybe he wouldn't have put it in the movie,
Yeah.
And that was an interesting thing too. I think it goes both ways, but in this situation it was really cool because he heard it for the soul music that I wanted to create.
Well, I think Lights Down Low is just freaking the greatest song, man.
Wow,
I
thank
really
you.
do. I really do, man.
So cool.
And I know you got your guitar player right now. We've never done anything like this before. I don't think you have either, have you?
Yeah, I'm in.
What if you play a little bit of the song and have dogs running around?
I'm in. I'm so in.
Actually, I saw that thing too you guys did on your Instagram where you did Backstreet Boys too.
Oh yeah, the Backstreet Boys thing.
Who's the girl you were doing with?
Oh, Allison Stoner. She's dope. She's great. She actually similar situation. She did a lot of acting stuff. She was in like Phineas and Ferb and Camp Rock and a lot of Disney stuff. Oh, she's one of the most talented. The coolest thing I think that she's ever done, and everybody thinks that, is she was the little girl in the Missy videos. Like, you know how
Missy video?
The little,
Missy video?
And Lose Control.
In Lose Control, you know how there's the little white girl who's just dancing?
Yeah.
That's her.
The Missy Elliott video?
Yeah.
Missy Elliott video.
She was like a kid at the time.
Yeah. Yo, she was.
Like,
I gotta
go.
go.
You said you're what? You're 23, 24?
24, yeah.
So like, we're the same age.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, it was.
That was it.
Dude,
It's like, who is this girl crumping and going crazy?
Man, like, I was
And she's so good.
And then wasn't.
Hey, baby.
No, wasn't Mike Super? No, that was never mind.
I know I'm gonna Google. I'm gonna Google. You're gonna have this whole resume of movies that I'm gonna be like, why did I do that? Why did I talk to you about that?
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, dog's lifting up your wife's skirt.
Oh, hey, be careful. She taking cuties. You wanna do a little lights down low with our puppy friends?
Yeah.
All right, cute. Let's do it. Oh, he wants.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
That's epic.
He's like mine.
Here, can I have two? I'm gonna do two babies. But don't fight, okay?
Ready, Rye? Yeah. It's cool, baby. We're cool. You wanna go? Okay, you can go. Heaven only knows where you've been, but I don't really need to know. It's like your trap. Where we gonna go? And on my heart, where you're resting your head, and you just look so beautiful, just like you were an angel. Can I stop the flow of time? Or can I swim in your divine? Thanks for the kisses. 'Cause I don't think I'd ever leave this place. Here we go. And no, turn the lights down low. Yeah, now I'm feeling you breathing slow. 'Cause baby, we're just reckless kids, trying to find an island in the flood. Oh, turn the lights down low. That's the end. You ready? And no, good kisses. Turn the lights down low. You ready, baby? Turn the lights down low. Thank you guys for the backup singing.
That was awesome.
So, thanks, guys.
I sure it's that part when you go. Also, just like. Yeah, I gotta tape my kid doing that because I'm telling you, it's great.
It's so cool.
Anyway, thanks for doing this experiment.
Hey, I love it. Anytime we can hang with dogs and chill, and it's just great. It's so you started rescuing and then
Hey, guys, don't fight.
taking the whole thing.
No, that's it. Started rescuing, and the thing is, my wife and I, we do it all. We fund it ourselves.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We pay for it all, and then we started realizing that, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, one dog we have, it costs like $4,000. He had to get his teeth removed and all
Yeah.
this stuff.
It gets
Yeah.
so expensive.
I know. It's one dog we just picked up last week. Somebody just threw it out of a truck.
Oh.
Right? It's got all banged, and it had like a rotten tooth that rotted all the way through its eye. So, and so now we get some money here and there. So we're doing actually a fundraiser tomorrow to raise a little bit of money, but mostly her and I pay for it. But it's okay. I think it's good. Bless you. Oh, the allergies are kicking in. So it's good. You put out stuff in the community, comes back. You get good karma. Good karma.
So cool. Honestly, we've been looking for a rescue place. Besides, we did one benefit for the place in New York where we rescued our dog, but anytime we would love to contribute in any way.
So if we ever
love
do
it.
something where we need an actual thing where we're gonna
Anything,
we need an
honestly.
artist and we're gonna do this big thing. I can hit you up.
I'm down. It's so cool. You seem like it just feels the best. There's nothing that feels better than finding, homes for little cuties like this, and it's just, that's the thing. Like you said, you started this interview series because you interview artists and all and what's so cool about being able to do it with a cause, it's just like, I wish we could do it all for free, always, man. Like, I don't care about any money of it, but my friend, when we did the first rescue thing, he's cool. He's always been really nice about my music, but he's not particularly into my style of music, you know?
Right.
And he hit me up, and it was really nice because it was sort of the first time we connected where he was like, dude, that really meant a lot to me. Like, I've always wanted to do rescue dog stuff, and so, anyway, we love it. And
We
these
talked about
kitties
trying to do
so
something.
good.
We want to do something at some point, one of those things, like one of those, because you always have those fundraisers all the time. I want to try to do something different.
Oh,
though,
yeah,
where you don't
totally.
have to wear a tuxedo, but I want people to spend money.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be great to have, like, if you an intimate moment where you come out on stage and play something, and people paid high dollar for it. So
Heck yeah.
I'm glad that you're open
Do you
to
ever
it.
watch John Oliver? Do you know?
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, he has. Isn't the bit? What's the bit where he had all the judges with the different dogs?
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
So when Obama was trying to appoint the
Supreme
Supreme
Justice.
they had a dog for each of the nominees, and everyone could like call in and vote which dog looked like each of the.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It was so good. They voted, but that would be really funny too if you had like a bunch of the cutie rescue dogs as judges or something like that of
something.
But they're so good. They're so good. I love these blue
Yeah. Plus,
eyes.
the whole thing is strictly, it's pure, it's organic, it's authentic. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like a lot of times people go, all right, well, your show's big now. You guys got to find a cause. You know, like this is real. And then our show does stuff for foster kids. My oldest son's adopted, so we do stuff for adopted kids. Like it's all you get to a position in the community where you can help and do stuff. So now we do stuff that's authentic and real.
Did you adopt your old? Was that after you had your own kids, or was that your first child?
He was our first. We went through infertility and we did all. We couldn't get pregnant, and we lost a couple twin girls that passed away, and then we went through we adopted a boy, and then that was magical. And then what's funny is. Are you guys all hip on the infertility stuff and how all that stuff works?
A little bit, yeah. She has endometriosis, so we've gone through a lot of stuff to figure all of that out. Not yet.
I know everything.
You know it all, right? It's crazy.
So my wife, it turns out she can't get pregnant, but we had frozen eggs and stuff. So my son's, we adopted the son the day he's born. Her sister comes in and says, hey, the doctor cleared me and says, I can carry a baby for you. So then a month later, they take my sperm, my wife's egg, put it in her sister, right? So her sister has my son, and then he's born, and then we go a couple years later, she goes to the doctor, and it turns out all this scarring tissue she had is gone, and they said, if you want to carry a baby, we think you can carry a baby. So they put in another egg in my wife, and it's actually my middle kid's twin. So now,
wait, what?
Yeah, so now I have my 10-year-old and my 13-year-old are twins.
Whoa.
But they're 3 years apart.
So cool.
So I have 3 kids with 3 women, and I didn't have sex with any of them. That's the truth.
That is brilliant.
That's so cool.
That's crazy.
What is
man.
it like? Wow, I've never heard of that. Of course,
a trip,
the twins being. What do they look like? I'm sure.
No,
or
not really.
at
They're
all?
fraternal. One's a
They're
redhead.
fraternal.
One's got long red hair, and the other one's got long blonde hair.
They must have a trip explaining that to people. Like, we're twins, but we're 3 years apart, or whatever it may be. That's so cool.
It's a trip. Oh my God, they pooped everywhere.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good. That's hop around rain poop too.
Like little
It's okay, poopy boy.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, hey,